All right, we've had just a little time to let this simmer, Chris, but that was awful. That was not fun to watch. So, in this video, I want to do two things. I want to first say what went wrong, what stood out to you. That's going to be my first question to you. I'll answer it as well. And then the second one is what are your hopes for the rest of the season? And if
Mhm.
playoffs are still within reach. So, right now, I started the video with the box score up. And I just want to ask you, Chris, is there anything in this box score that sticks out to you by any chance that would tell you that maybe this went wrong?
Oh gosh, of course it's the Panthers rushing attack, but it was more than that. It wasn't
320 yards? Is that
yeah.
just
It
a
was
Carolina Panther team record, right?
it was just the gashing running attack. I think we as Lions fans know that our defense is not just this elite defense. We know that from
No,
the
we know
start.
that.
But what we saw in the beginning of the season was like, oh man, this is really, really bad. And
Yep.
then last 7 weeks, hey, hanging in there, playing well, tough against the run, making teams earn stuff. And it's like, that's what we need. And really overachieving. And we all knew it and deep down that they were
We knew it.
overachieving. But then bang, just like that, we went back to the horrific record setting type of bad that you never can overcome that. So it was really man, little shocking, very shocking to see. But also, don't forget, this was the team, this was the defense the first 6 weeks. So,
Seven, yeah,
yeah, just to, or
absolutely.
whatever. So just
This
yeah, just
this defense, this is how our defense was until the Packers game
yeah,
when we won it 15-9, and we were all amazed that we held the Packers to that.
absolutely.
This
So
was our defense. So for half of the season, now just a little over half the season, this is what our defense has been.
yeah. Oh, so that's no, exactly. That's all I have to say on that is don't forget that. We were very disappointed, but
Thank
I
you
think
so
there's
much
some
because
of
now you're making
this.
me sad for the future. Good
Yeah,
job.
there's some of this that this was bound to happen at some point. Now, luckily for us, we are able to keep it going, but it's on the road. It's cold. We've won.
Yep.
You just, but this was shocking, and the rushing for the Panthers was shocking to me.
Yeah, and I think it goes back partially to an injury to Elliott. I think that's a real thing.
Hmm.
But when you asked me what stood out, it was one of those things, and I think this is the best way I can say it. We know we got gashed on the ground. Quite frankly, we didn't do well through the air either on defense. But what was amazing to me was how everything seemed to go their way. And when I say
Mm,
everything, I mean everything. I mean batted balls at the line of scrimmage.
yep.
I mean, when we fumble a ball, they recover. When they fumble or muff a punt, they still recover. Like, I mean,
Mm.
DJ Moore with the toe tap on 3rd and long. I mean, there's just so many things where it's like went their way, went their way, went their way. And at some point it has to happen. And here's I think what stood out to me as mad as I was, especially for the first half of this game. By the way, can I just side tangent into personal life for a second? I was so mad watching this game. I was in first place in both my fantasy football Yahoo leagues. Yahoo, one in ESPN. You know about this. All right. Get a first round bye. As I'm watching the Lions get crushed, I'm watching my fantasy football teams get upset at the exact same time.
Mm.
It is just so difficult. There's still a chance for them to come back. I still have some slight hope. And one of them is in a league where my wife's in it and she's beating me. All right, that is just that's terrible. All right. So, anyways, here's the point though. What I'm trying to say with where everything went wrong. We have been 6-1 over the last 7 games. Everything has gone right.
Hmm.
Eventually, things had to go wrong. If all of them went wrong in one game, so this is the game we lose, and then we win out Bears Packers, I'll take it.
Yep.
So that's what I want to talk about with the next one. Do you think we have a legitimate shot still at making the playoffs? Do you think we still have a legit shot at making the playoffs? And do you still feel that this is a playoff caliber team? That may be the better question.
Yeah, great question. So this was a good humbling heat check for us to say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we know who we are now. We're home against the Bears. Love it. Home Bears, not great, but man, tough. Justin Fields can go off at any second. Then you got to go to Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers, last game of the year. So my point is, we are good enough to win both of those games. We're
Yeah,
also not good enough where we could lose both of those games. So
100%.
it's just we know what we are now, and we're so, I guess, thankful and happy that, man, we're 7-8. This is what we wanted in the second year of this rebuild. We're doing it right. There's a lot of really good things, and that's okay to say maybe we're not going to win these next two, but I guess this really was a good heat check. Okay. We still have a ways to go on defense. There's some things maybe teams have figured out on tape, because we are playing what seems like the same base stuff a lot more,
Yeah.
except when we do a zero blitz that never ever works anyway.
Some of that's a rookie and a oft entered second year guy, first year playing safety. That is the back two. I think
Yeah.
that's some of the base stuff, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we can still win. We can still do some things. I think our offense was humming there until we fumbled the ball. Then the rest was history. It was just kind of a weird thing. I mean, maybe that's
Yeah.
just a cop out answer from a Homer fan, where it's like, man, if we don't fumble there, go up, could have been a different game. But to answer your question, I still think we're a good team that is capable of winning these next two games, and everything's in front of us.
Yeah, you said something really unique. You said we are who we thought we were, basically, right? And obviously I want to yell, and we let him off the hook.
Yeah.
Following that.
Classic.
But classic. But here's the thing. We said this in the beginning of the year, right? What did we think the offense would be? We thought it would be pretty good. We
Yes.
thought it had the caliber to be a top 10 offense with the weapons and the offensive line and everything. And we said over and over and over again, we just need our defense. Can they be average? Can they be like a 15 to 20 ranked defense? Just be average. And if they are, we're going to win. If they're not, we're in trouble. And in the 7 games we were average, we did pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, that's right.
But now we're back, and we've regressed back to what we were for the first half of the season on defense. And all of a sudden it's like, oh man, this is an offense that's good, but it can't keep up when the defense is just a leaky sieve. Like, the defense was so bad.
And you can't it's so hard. And I mean, you can't blame us. It's so hard to really know what next week will hold, because
I don't know.
I mean, and you think, well,
I know the Bears went through us like Swiss cheese. Fields went through us like Swiss cheese the last time we played. So forgive me if I'm not excited.
Exactly. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Now, offensively, we're home. I would feel good about that. So yeah, it's just, we have two separate teams. We have the 1-6 team. We have the 6-1 or around 6-2 team that I just don't know who's going to show up and what our defense will look like, because I still think defense is okay, but man, this was a tough one to watch. And but the bigger picture in this one was just how everything went right for those guys. I mean, I just want to go back real quick. Even the Bugs penalty, he that was a penalty on him. Like, he did throw the guy, but the flag was clearly thrown on the Panthers guy that came to him. But then after this, they scuffled enough, and Bugs kept scuffling enough. Like, let's just throw it. Let's just go on.
It's on him, because the guy retaliated, but then he retaliated to the retaliation, so he deserves a penalty.
Let's just, 2-1. Yeah,
we'll just say it was for the beginning. No, it wasn't. You're lying.
I know.
You are lying.
Just little things. And again, not taking anything away from the Panthers. They just totally dominated us. But when
they're great,
everything was going their way, and we've been fortunate that that's been happening to us. And I just wonder what the next two games hold. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think what we need to keep doing here is remember, we thought at the beginning of the year, and up until the last 2 or 3 weeks, it was always about next season. It was always about, what are we looking at? How are we getting better? Are we going to be okay for next season? Like, where are our draft picks going to end up? Do we trust Brad Holmes? Yes, we do. Is Dan Campbell proving that he's a pretty good coach? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Like, it's okay. Like, believe it or not, no matter the outcome, it's going to be all right. If we go win against Chicago and then beat the Packers, it'll be sweet. We might make the playoffs. Everybody's going to be thrilled about that. We'll all be happy about that. But if we lose to the Bears and we lose to the Packers, we're going to have 2 good draft picks. It's okay, right? Not only is it okay, but we're still going to be in a good position because guess what? Now other things might start happening. Maybe Ben Johnson doesn't get as much consideration for a head coach job. I'm not saying I don't want him to get it. Like, good for you, man. Go get yours. Same with Aaron Glenn. Like, maybe we keep our coaching staff intact for another year, and it allows us to like really capitalize on the talent we have next year. I think there can be good things that can happen in either direction. That's all I'm saying. The
100%.
sky isn't falling. This is not same old Lions. I'm not willing to pull that trigger yet. I'm just not.
No, and you've always done a good job reminding us, like, okay, we would need to go 10-1 down the stretch.
It was 9-1
or 9-1. I mean, the fact that we're even in the conversation is just amazing. So yeah, it's
I think
tough.
there's only one team in the NFL this year that's gone 9-1 over a 10-game stretch, right? Unless the Vikings did it. It was the Eagles and maybe the Vikings. Like, it's not easy, man.
It's not, no, you have to be an elite team to do that, to go win.
And we're not an elite team.
No, and that's why you cannot go on the road and just beat teams. Like, it's like, oh yeah, we should have beat that. It's tough. It's tough. So didn't expect to get just train wrecked, but still would have liked to been more competitive. But I'm not devastated by the actual loss. It counts as a loss, whether you got put up 400 yards rushing on us or not. Doesn't matter. It's just a loss.
It's just a loss. So, hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. We didn't say that yet. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, and hey, maybe this year we'll get the gift of a couple more Lions victories.
my wife always says Merry Chrysler. What's that?
Or Merry Christmas.
Oh, see.
Yep. Merry Chrysler. Sammy does the Merry Chrysler too. That's really
Merry
funny.
Chrysler.
All right, we got to get out of here. This is going to go off the rails, man. Hey, I'm sorry you had to watch that game. And I'm sorry I did too, but we still love the Lions. There are better days ahead.
Yep.
All right. See you later, buddy.
See ya, man.